Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, the Dallas Arboretum is world famous for its beautiful plants and flowers, but there's a completely different reason why you want to go check it out right now. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, the Dallas Arboretum is world famous for the beautiful plants and flowers. It's always in the top 10 as far as arboretums in the country. I can't even imagine how many weddings or engagements have happened at the Dallas Arboretum over the years. But Dave Forehand is the director or vice president of gardens, and you've been there now for 21 years?
21 years. It's been an amazing time there. Can't wait to talk to folks about it.
Absolutely. There's some very exciting stuff. I want to start by showing just some video of this is how people know the Dallas Arboretum. Just beautiful flowers, beautiful landscapes. Tell us more about the history of the Arboretum.
Okay, well, we're very young garden by garden standards. Really didn't open to the public till around 85. It was 2 historic properties, DeGoyer Estate, which was 44 acres, and the Roberta Camp Estate, which is 22, that forms the 66 acres. In those early days, they thought, what will cause people to want to come? And the thought was, if we have a big floral display in the spring, especially using bulbs, that will do the trick. And that's when the first tulips were planted, and that's become a real classic for everyone to come out. We plant over 500,000 bulbs now, 500,000 that bloom beautifully, and that's a real draw for folks. And as we developed the gardens, we moved across and opened up more of the property. It was beautiful to begin with, but didn't really have really intense gardens like it does now. And we're just about done with most of the property in terms of developing it. And it's become a real staple for people here in Dallas.
Well, it's, when you look at a visitor's guide, this is one of the first places that they point you to, because it is really such a breathtaking experience. And I'm sure you run across engagements and weddings all the time.
Oh, we do. We average about 450 weddings a year. We had a little bit of a pause during the shutdown, but we're back in business. There's so much pent-up demand for outdoor weddings now with the Arboretum and other places as well.
Okay, so there's a very special reason why you're in studio today. It's because you have a wonderful new exhibit. Tell us about it.
Right. It's called Zim Sculpt. It's stone sculptures from artists from Zimbabwe. We had this exhibit about 4 years ago. It was super popular, so it's backed by popular demand. There's over 100 statues displayed throughout the gardens, and there's a beautiful marketplace where people can come and shop and purchase these carvings and the different sculptures. We have 2 artists that are from Zimbabwe that are there carving daily, so you can interact and talk to them and watch how they do this. They use these different stones like serpentine and other precious stones in these carvings, and they're just remarkably beautiful.
I urge you to follow Dave on Facebook and YouTube, because he's prolific when it comes to making videos. We found a beautiful video that references the Zim Sculpt event, so let's go ahead and roll that now.
I'm Dave Forehand with the Dallas Arboretum, and I'm standing in front of some very, very important shipping crates. This is the crates that house all the statues for our Zim Sculpt exhibit, which will be kicking off here at the Arboretum this summer. It's an amazing trip that these containers have actually taken. They were loaded in Harare, Zimbabwe, taken to the coast, loaded on a ship. Ship had to cross the ocean, was unloaded on the east coast of the United States, then by train came to Dallas, and then loaded on a truck and delivered here. The artists behind me are actually unloading all these and unpacking all the crates. There's thousands of this Shona statuary. It's carved from stone by the Shona people of Zimbabwe, and we'll have this exhibit showcasing these beautiful art forms throughout the garden.
My name is Aaron Kapembeza. I'm from Zimbabwe, Southern Africa. I do specialize on human figures, mostly ladies. My mother was the one who was doing everything, so I respect ladies so much because, you know, ladies are the ones who works a lot. So when I get a piece of rock, I have to try to put a lady inside the stone. I can see a lady inside the stone.
My name is Pasmo Mpindiko. I'm from the northern in Zimbabwe, in the northern part. Myself, I do mostly animals, different type of animals.
All right, everybody. Now, we've watched as these shipping containers came to Dallas. We've watched as the artists unloaded and got things going. We've watched as they've installed. We've met the artists, Aaron and Passmore, seen some of their work. We've toured around and seen a number of these statues in the garden. Really, all that's left to do now is for you to come out and visit and see this exhibit firsthand. Over 120 of these beautiful statues placed throughout the grounds of the Arboretum, just mixed with beautiful things. You see this gorgeous statues I'm standing next to right now. There's many, many more like it. You just can't believe how unique and different they all are. So I really want you to plan, look ahead, mark your calendar and get out. You have till July the 31st to see these beautiful things.
Wow. Well, the first thing that struck me is the special care that must go into transporting that. I mean, a lot could go wrong in that journey. That's a long journey.
Oh, that's so true. You know, they're in these shipping containers. They've got to make it from Harare there in Zimbabwe all the way across to the East Coast and then trucked into the Metroplex. So they pack them really carefully. Yeah. And for the most part, when they take them all out, they're all in good shape, which is great.
And you're greatly relieved.
Yes.
And I also love it that you have the guys there actually doing the sculpturing so the public can see it.
I think that's one of the things that makes this traveling exhibit so unique is having those sculptures. The one that was carving the bird, Passmore, is actually with us this time as well, and he can talk to you about that. He specializes in animals and especially birds that he sculpts using that serpentine stone, so it's neat. And that stone, you can see the color was kind of a bluish gray, but when they polish it, it'll turn almost jet black. So it's really neat how the same stone can have those two different colors, and that's how they get a lot of that patina on those beautiful sculptures.
It's so beautiful. We found another video. It's a time lapse, so it's about a minute. Go ahead and watch this one. That is just amazing. Something? It's so beautiful.
It's just a block of stone, and he turns into those beautiful ladies. It's really neat.
I think so too. Well, let's talk a little bit about COVID. What was it like at the peak of COVID, and what's it like now?
Well, you know, we were all just kind of in shock, where it just came to a screeching halt. We had to close like everywhere else and come up with a plan. We quickly decided we would bring Dallas blooms to everyone digitally, called Digital Dallas Bloom. So I did a lot of videos to show people what was going on because no one could see the tulips blooming or all the other flowers. And that worked out really well. And we got quite a following actually around the country, not just here in Dallas. And one of the reasons we've continued with our social media, kind of at the level that we do, is because there's so much interest in people following what's going on now. So that was a plus. We were able to reopen in June, and things have just picked up from there. Things have relaxed. I'm happy to report that just this past week we were relaxed the mask rules. It's optional now outdoors in the garden, which is a big step for everybody to have more normalcy and enjoy the gardens even in a better way than they have been.
Absolutely. And experiencing the gardens are really one of the safest ways. I mean, anytime that I think even Dr. Fauci says outdoor activities are encouraged, right?
That's right. So people feel great. And so we've seen a real push from folks to come back and enjoy the Arboretum. We saw it really in the fall, in our holiday, and now the spring, and it's continuing through the summer. So we're open for business. It's beautiful at the Arboretum, so people need to come and enjoy this special place.
Absolutely. We're going to put your event page up because I love it that you guys have so much going on. You mentioned to me the concert series. Talk a little bit about that.
Right. Well, we're happy that our concerts are back in business, started this spring, and will continue through the summer. It's a lesser capacity to make it safe for everybody, but still it's a lot of slots. It is something you have to go online and purchase, and it is selling out. So if you want to go to Concert at the Arboretum, you need to go ahead now and book that for this summer or for the fall concerts as well. One of the ways we've come up with to keep people kind of distance, but fill the lawn with people, is we painted squares all over the lawn, and they're just enough far apart from each other that everybody has their own little square. It's kind of like a cat sitting in a circle. Everybody's got their little circle and they sit down, but it's just working perfect. So everybody doesn't have to worry about somebody pushing in too close to them.
And in the fall, you have pumpkins.
We do. The great pumpkins. This year, the theme is Bugtopia. We're going to have oversized bugs mixed in with all the pumpkin displays and the pumpkin houses. I think it's going to be a real hit again. And then we wrap up the year with Holiday at the Arboretum as well.
I love it. And food.
Food, lots of good food service. People are allowed to bring their own food. A lot of gardens don't allow that, but we do. People can bring their own food and drink and have a picnic. Or there's lots of good food options as well. We have our food and herb garden at Caseful Place, which is also wonderful because there you can actually get a free sample of something that's growing in the garden. They prepare different recipes, and those are available for people as well.
What I love is that you guys are always you're not resting on your laurels. You're always kind of inventing and reinventing. So if somebody hasn't gone in a while, Dave, your camera is there on the right. What do you want to say in the last minute about how, if they haven't been in 5 or 6 years, it's a different experience?
That's right. Well, we've added so many new gardens. If you haven't been in that time, you're going to be surprised. Like the food and herb garden has only been there for 3 years. A whole new space where you can experience different vegetables and herbs and see what can be grown in North Texas. And the other gardens are maintained beautifully as well. And it's always changing. So there's always flowers blooming. The beds are never going to be empty. There's just a lot to do. We have lots of vendors that come in. So there's other kind of samples going on. So whenever you come, you're going to have a good experience and you're going to really enjoy. And of course, just spend that quiet, wonderful time with family and friends there in the gardens.
And I think there's something for everybody, for the little kids to the 100-year-old. They can all enjoy something.
They do, and we're one of those places where everybody can have a good time. So there's not like the young ones are complaining about having to go, or the older ones think it's just for the kids. Everybody has a place at the Arboretum.
Outstanding. Well, Dave, thank you for coming on the show. We're going to end by putting up the website so people can get in touch and purchase tickets. DallasArboretum.org is the website. Dave, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jeff. Sure appreciate it.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.